Okay, let's dive right into this explainer, because there's a massive shift happening right now in the open source cloud security landscape. We're going from the graveyard to the gold mine, looking exactly at why Prowler beats out those abandoned CSPM tools. If you've been managing cloud infrastructure for a while, well, you absolutely cannot afford to skip this one. So ask yourself this: is your cloud security scanner dead? You might think your cloud infrastructure is completely locked down just because your legacy scanner is, showing all green on the dashboard. But what if the tool itself is just completely blind to new threats?
And that brings us to the core problem we're facing today, this dangerous illusion of safety. The free open-source tools that cloud security engineers have relied on for literally years have quietly died off, and they're leaving critical vulnerabilities totally undetected in their wake.
Let's take a quick look at the current state of free CSPM.
Just to make sure we're all on the exact same page, let's establish a baseline of what Cloud Security Posture Management, or CSPM, actually does. It's the automated, continuous monitoring of your cloud infrastructure configuration, right? It detects misconfigurations, policy violations, and compliance gaps. In a world where cloud environments change by the minute, with new instances spinning up and down automatically, manual oversight is, well, it's virtually impossible. CSPM connects directly to your cloud provider APIs to automatically check your configurations against strict security baselines. It's basically a tireless guard dog saving you from costly breaches.
Which brings us to the graveyard of dead tools.
Take Scout Suite, for example. Now, this was once a phenomenal go-to multi-cloud auditing tool that a lot of us loved. Actually, scratch that. We used to love it. The reality today is pretty bleak. It hasn't seen a meaningful update since May 2024, it's suffering from these aging Python dependency conflicts, and it has absolutely zero coverage for new cloud services. Contrast that zombie tool with Prowler. Prowler is actively maintained, has a relentless weekly release cycle, and boasts this massive growing library of security checks that actually understand the modern cloud.
So it really boils down to this harsh truth. Running unmaintained security tooling literally just gives you false confidence. Because abandoned tools completely miss the new AWS services launched over the last couple of years, they fail to recognize modern attack patterns entirely. If your scanner hasn't been updated to know what a modern attack looks like, well, your defenses are already obsolete.
And then let's look at another famous name, Cloudsploit. Honestly, it's not faring much better. With its parent company's attention shifting mostly to commercial products, the open source version suffers from minimal updates. Community pull requests, they just sit ignored for months. Even more alarming, it's running outdated checks that reference deprecated AWS APIs. Why does that matter? Because it means the tool is essentially checking the locks on doors that don't even exist anymore, while completely ignoring the brand new doors left wide open. Worst of all, there's no mapping to current CIS or SOC 2 framework versions. It's kind of useless for modern compliance audits.
Enter Prowler, the reigning champion.
When you stack these tools up side by side on this matrix, it's not even a fair fight. Prowler undeniably dominates the space. While Scout Suite and Cloudsploit are sitting there abandoned or minimally updated with roughly 400 aging checks, Prowler is pushing active weekly updates. We're talking about a massive library of over 1,242 active checks across multiple cloud providers. Plus, you get the full current CIS mapping that those legacy tools are completely missing. It is for sure the definitive standard for open-source cloud security today.
Let's break down Prowler's massive arsenal.
600. That is a staggering number of actively maintained security checks Prowler runs just for AWS alone, comprehensively covering 84 different cloud services. It digs so much deeper into the fabric of your infrastructure than any of those older tools ever could. It makes sure that even the most obscure service configurations are fully vetted.
And here's another incredible metric your compliance team is going to love. 44. That's the exact number of different international compliance frameworks Prowler meticulously maps its findings against, right out of the box. No more spending weeks writing custom rules to match compliance requirements. We're talking about out-of-the-box mapping for the absolute heavy hitters here. CIS benchmarks, SOC 2, HIPAA, PCI DSS, GDPR, NIST, and ENS. When an auditor inevitably shows up knocking on your door demanding concrete proof of compliance for these strict frameworks, Prowler generates the exact structured evidence you need. It maps every single finding to a specific control with a clear pass or fail status. That alone is going to save your engineering team countless hours of frantic spreadsheet formatting.
Okay, so what about fixing the flaws?
Finding the holes is only half the battle, right? Prowler doesn't just point out your flaws, it actually gives you the tools to fix them. By using its native command line fixer flag, you can automatically remediate misconfigurations across 17 different AWS services. It leverages 55 specific auto-fixers that make direct API calls to securely change your infrastructure. This is a real game changer. It drastically reduces manual engineering work, turning this overwhelming list of vulnerabilities into a checklist of problems that you can solve with literally a single command.
Furthermore, instead of overwhelming you with what we call flat-finding fatigue, that nightmare scenario where a tool spits out thousands of isolated, low-risk alerts and your security team just gets exhausted and ignores everything, Prowler takes a much more intelligent approach. The Prowler app utilizes graph databases like Neo4j and cryptography to build a contextual graph. It actually maps out 78 specific privilege escalation attack paths. It identifies these toxic combinations of minor misconfigurations that, when you chain them together, could lead to a major breach. So it shows you the real-world attack paths, not just a massive list of unrelated errors.
So, what's your next move? The migration path is shockingly simple. 3 quick steps. Do a quick installation via pip, reuse your existing read-only IAM roles and credentials, and execute the scan for your specific cloud environment. Whether you're on AWS, Azure, or GCP, Prowler is ready to go in minutes. Boom, done. So, I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought. Are you still running unmaintained security tooling? Check your CI/CD pipelines today, because relying on an abandoned scanner is definitely the fastest way to miss your next costly cloud breach. Make the switch, get the right visibility, and keep your infrastructure secure.